everyone. Happy Friday. I feel like that is one of my openings that I always say happy Friday because it is a Friday. I'm just waiting for Facebook Live to connect. It takes a time. Good morning, everyone. That's the second time for those of you on Instagram. Welcome to what is in Melbourne, a very sunny morning. And I thought I'd just recap a little bit on my week and the fact that I'm so excited to announce that we are working with a couple or family who are on Scotland Island. Now, I was talking to one of my suppliers about this, and he said, "Wow, Scotland, how are you going to manage that?" And I was like, "Well, it's not actually in Scotland; it's actually in New South Wales." So I had never heard of Scotland Island, and it's a very remote, little, amazing island in the north of Sydney. And I said to him, actually, if it was Scotland Island in New South Wales, or it was actually Scotland, as in the UK, our processes and the way we service our clients would be the same. But I am really excited to welcome the client on board because it is so exciting to work on a remote little island, and it will be a fabulous excuse for us or me to go on a little holiday and see the outcome of the project. But it doesn't really matter where you live because we have so many great systems in place that you are still served. You still get to touch and feel all the things that are going to be in your home. We send out a fabulous little sample box. So that was really exciting, and I'll be also really looking forward to showing you the outcome of their kitchen and bathroom and so forth that we're doing for them. So, that was, a little bit of a nice thing that happened this week. Now, today I am going to be chatting to you about walk-in pantries and doors, and I am just going to focus just very, very, very finically on doors to walk-in pantries. There is going to be an entire episode on walk-in pantries in the Kitchen Design Essentials podcast, which has now had its second episode and our third episode next week on Wednesday. It launches every Wednesday. A new episode will come up, and where I'm going to be discussing with a guest, I'm going to be talking about kitchen design layout. So what's going to be the best layout for you based on your floor plan? What are the advantages and disadvantages of certain layouts? And I do discuss this in the kitchen design masterclass that I run. We've had that as a live event many, many times over. It was also then, because of COVID, it then ended up being a webinar, which we had great feedback, and we had awesome commentary from people that couldn't actually make it to the live event, so they were really happy it went to a webinar. So as I'm thinking about that out loud, I should actually then launch another webinar around the kitchen design masterclass, which is really a very I suppose a summary of some of the key things to consider. The podcast is certainly going into a lot more detail because every episode is around a very specific area of kitchen design. So kitchen layouts is on Wednesday, but there will be one especially on pantries, which is going to go through your windows, your sinks. What do you use it for? Do we have cabinetry doors? Do we have drawers? All that sort of stuff is going to be dealt with in an entire episode on the Kitchen Design Essentials podcast. And I hope that you've been getting a lot of good information from that. I've had some fabulous feedback, so thanks for tuning in. Rightio, so now I wanted to chat about walk-in pantries and to door or not to door. And what I mean by that is, should we actually have a door to our walk-in pantries, or do we actually leave it open? And I see so many floor plans as part of the floor plan sanity check process, looking at that space and more often than not adding in a door. Now, the reason for that, and when I say door, the optimum door scenario would be a cavity slider, a sliding door that retracts back into the wall. Because when you're working, the reason that I really like having a door on the walk-in pantry space is, for me, the pantry is a walk-in pantry, so a butler's pantry is an additional prep area, and it is a place to store all your dry goods, your some of your fruit and veg that is not necessarily in the fridge, your additional appliances, small appliances, and it's also a little prep area. You might have your kettle in there, your toaster, and so forth. So for me, it's a working area. It is not a second kitchen that, for me anyway, it's not a second kitchen that is also then a display area. One of the reasons we have a walk-in pantry is to keep our surfaces in our kitchen clearer. It aids for additional prep space, but also because our kitchens are now working so hard for us, and they are multiple zones. They're not just a kitchen and a prep area. They're our breakfast bar, our entertaining space, our casual dining areas, our homework space. And so having less in the kitchen, the actual kitchen, is better for us. It allows us to do more things with that space. And so a walk-in pantry allows us to do that by having an area where you can dump things, where you can store things. And so for me, it's an area that you want to be able to close off. I know in my pantry, I love being able to close the door, because when people are coming over, I've got all the pre-prepared food in there. It might be Glad wrapped over. I've got an additional fridge in there. So that's our food area, our prepped area. Our food goes in there, our platters and things like that. It's also a place that we bake. So for me, it's not a show space. It is my close the door. This is not for people to see. This is a little bit of, if we're going to walk in there today, a bomb. It's very, very messy in there at the moment, because it also becomes, dare I say it, a bit of a dumping ground as well. So that's one of the key reasons that I think having a door on your pantry means that you can slide that door and no one needs to look in there. So on a daily basis, when it's just us hanging out at home, my family, we have the door open. We're in and out of there all the time, and we have the door open, and that's why sliding doors so good. You don't have to be opening and closing that door all the time. And so predominantly we have it open, but when people are coming over, and I actually had a client come over to my house this week to have a look at our timber tiled floors. They were really keen to have a look at those in situ. And so, yeah, sure, you can come over, but it was a no-go zone for my walk-in pantry. I closed the door and my kitchen was all lovely, but I was able to close the door. Now, sometimes it's not possible. We've got this at the moment with a current client where we're doing a renovation and they've got solid brick internal walls. So we can't do a cavity slider. But I'm still very keen to make sure that they're able to close that space off. And this happens quite a lot too. Your pantry can then also lead to your laundry. And so we do want to be able to close these spaces off. And also not, for another reason is we don't want to heat those spaces. We don't need to heat our laundry and our walk-in pantries like we do our living areas. So for the solid brick wall, we can't do a cavity slider. We can't do a pocket door that slides back into the wall. So we are doing an external sliding door. So think barn door. It can be however you want it to be. You can make that a real architectural feature and have like a bespoke door made. But at least it enables them to be able to still close that area off. So we're going to have an external door placed, so because we can't do a pocket slider, and then that will be able to open and close as per normal. That's on the inside of the pantry so that it's not protruding into the kitchen space. And then we'll also have one for their laundry that is also an external sliding door. So when I say external, I don't mean it is outside. I just mean it's on the external part. It's not actually going to be sliding in and out of the wall, because we can't do that there. Now, what I would stay away from, and I do, I rarely see this. Welcome, Gayleen. Hi. It's rare that I would see a hinge door, but I would absolutely stay away from a hinge door from a pantry space, because it's such a busy area. Lots of people are going in and out of there at any given time during the day. So having a hinge door, opening and closing that all the time, is just going to drive you nuts. Plus, it takes up space. So when you're opening that into the pantry, it's either going to go on one side or the other, and that means that you'd have to close that door once you're inside the pantry to be able to access those areas. So I definitely don't recommend that. Same with a bifold door. If you're using a bifold, it has to go one way or the other. And so again, it's probably the lesser of the two evils, having a bifold door over a hinge door. But for me, the best scenario is definitely pocket slider in the wall or an external sliding door. So that was what I wanted to chat to you today about. This comes up a lot. It's very rare that we don't add in a sliding door for the pantry space. Once I explain to clients what the purpose of the walk-in pantry is for and the rationale behind having a sliding door, they're like, oh yeah, I want to be able to close it off. But there are so many plans I see where it's just open, 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 open. And for me, it sort of defeats the purpose. Now, we do have clients where the way the space has been designed, it is conducive to having that open. And it may be that the way it's been designed by the architect, it's not possible to have a sliding door, or we need that space open because there's an architectural aesthetic reason why we would have that open. It's quite rare, and I still try and get it in, but we do have a few clients where we have actually got it open. And as we then are designing that pantry space differently than what we would be if we did have a sliding door. So your materials would need to be the same as the kitchen. That may add additional cost. The way things are hidden, we'd need to have closed cabinetry, which adds additional cost because we do want to make sure that that's looking, it is exposed. So we do want to make sure aesthetically it is going to still be quite streamlined, look good, and still function for you. So that's what I wanted to chat to you about today. The other thing that I wanted to mention was the kitchen. So the Kitchen Design Essentials next Wednesday is going to launch about kitchen design layout, which is really important when you are designing your kitchen and the location of your kitchen in your home. But also the Your Forever Home, the First Steps course is massively on sale at the moment because it's end of financial year. And it's like, I've never done an end of financial year sale before. So I thought this was an awesome opportunity. And because of the home design scheme, I thought this is also a great opportunity. So it's normally $497 and right now it's $197. So that's $300 saving. And that course is really all the steps that you need to know to how to avoid, $50,000, $100,000 mistakes, which I see happen so much because people are unsure. They don't know what they don't know really early on in the process before they're even starting to get their home designed, all the different things that can occur. So your location, what are your council regulations, how to future-proof your home, all these sorts of things are covered off in the course. So have a look at that at whitepebbleinteriors.com.au/courses, or you can also just go straight directly to the Your Forever Home website, and you'll see all the information about the course there. But that is only valid for another 2 weeks, 12th of July. It will not then go back up to $497. So I hope that, that can add some value for you as well. So do we have any questions today? It's so nice to have people come back time and time again to tune in. And as what happened last week I spoke very specifically about rugs because it was requested by a follower, and so I covered that up for her. So if you've got a topic that you'd like me to talk about 1 week, please let me know. You can either message me or email me. I'm pretty easy to get in contact with, and I'm more than happy to cover that off for you 1 week. So if we don't have any questions today, I will bid you farewell. Don't forget to tune into the podcast, Your Forever Home. Everything's Your Forever Home. So the Your Forever Home podcast season. And don't forget, every Friday I'm here at 10 o'clock, whether I'm hungover or not. But today I'm not. And I'm not normally because it's a school night. So have a great weekend. And thanks for tuning in. And I'll be here next week, same time, same place. Bye for now.